Artlist.io.
Hello everyone, Lance and Kel from Refocus on Happiness. Steve Martin has a great phrase. He says, be so good at what you do that people cannot ignore you. I'm going to show you a world that I'm going to make it so obvious what I represent for you. I believe the only reason you would not want to move forward is if you're quite frankly just a glutton for punishment. At the end of the day, let's just be very clear with each other. You want to feel fantastic. When you feel great, you speak great. When you feel great, you make different decisions. And when you feel great, you don't say or do things you shouldn't be saying or doing. It does not matter what you know. It only matters what you can do. And if you cannot control your emotional states and how you feel, you effectively know zero. When you feel like crap, how are you going to stop yourself from saying things and doing things you shouldn't be saying or doing? That doesn't even make sense. So if you are sick and tired of all the concepts you know and the great ideas, but you can't control those emotions, you're tired of not being able to execute, if you're tired of not feeling great, well then I'll show you a world that you wish you got introduced to many years ago. Even the first week, you'll have an experience that is indisputable. And here's the good news for you. At the end of the day, what I teach people, it's not a concept. It's a conditioning. You might talk about your mindsets and all these different things you're trying to do, but if you can't control the way you feel, conditioning actually makes that mindset possible. You can't speak how you don't feel. You can't make decisions align with when you feel like crap. This is what addresses it, the core, the biological core. And what's cool is what you're gonna see in this video here is a lot of people you go to for your healing, your classic doctors and therapists and counselors, they come to me, they do my program. But again, I'll make this very obvious for you. So if you decide after you watch this video that what I put in front of you is pretty freaking obvious, happy to have a conversation. And in that case, look forward to speaking to you soon.
I was almost engaged and it basically fell apart when he came to live in a studio apartment in New York with me during the pandemic. So a lot of things came up during that time, and then we knew that we couldn't go forward with the engagement with these things that needed to be resolved. And so I was, and he left. So I knew I needed to do something. I really wanted to move on as quickly as possible because I was seeing that it wasn't the right thing. So I wanted to, so what really appealed to me was actually when you said, get over your ex within days, and that was really interesting to me because I actually already knew that time is really an illusion, and that you can heal much quicker than most people expect.
Yep.
So it appealed to me because I haven't had many experiences where where I didn't have to go through grieving if somebody passed. And, a lot of people, like a lot of my friends said to me, oh, time heals all wounds. And I knew that there was a better way. And so when I saw that you were also, that you recognize that as well, that it really spoke to me. And so your practice, what you shared with me, it actually strengthened and gave a really good structure and support for similar principles that I was already working with. So, and it gave a lot of strength because you were there. You have the most patient fiance, I think, because you call back any hour of the day. But, you were always there when I called you, and weekends, evenings, whenever. And I also felt really, I felt like the structure of listening to a lot of the other people speak, I could see myself and really relate, and that it just gave me a lot of clarity. So that's what initially, and I actually gave you, I don't know if you remember this, but I called you because you curse a lot, right? And you tell
That's
people
right. I do. I fucking do.
Yeah, but I think at the beginning when I was deciding do I want to work with him, I don't know, I said something, and I said maybe I don't know if I had called it aggressive or whatever. And I remember you said, don't confuse that with being a straight shooter. And then the more we talked, I could see that it was really, you were taking, a strong stance to not put up with unresourceful thinking. And you helped me create boundaries and just take a stance for, not allowing certain behaviors in myself and in others. And so the more I talked with you, and I just knew it was something that I needed to do, because there's no point of like dragging on a relationship that's not going anywhere. And it's very common. A lot of people do that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was my initial, it's funny because initially I also I liked the get your ex back by getting you back. There's a little thing in me that's like, oh, well, maybe I can get him back and everything. And by learning whatever I need to learn. But by the end, remember we had that discussion, and it was, I had all the communication techniques, all these great techniques to approach a conversation. And I really came to the understanding of, well, I don't actually think I want this anymore.
It's interesting, huh?
Yeah. And it's amazing because you would call things that would happen, and that you'd be like, this thing happened, and then it would happen. You'd be like, if you do this, he may actually come back, and then that would happen.
Yep.
But the great thing was that I was so clear at that point on, what I wanted and what I would not stand for. And I was just a clearer person and a stronger person. So I was able to have great, I think of myself as a good communicator already, but this made me way better and really clear for especially this topic of relationships.
Yeah.
So I really needed it, because you addressed very specifically, even though it goes way beyond relationships, it really prepared me for moving forward and finding my own freedom and my own happiness, which was not dependent on anything, just finding that happiness that is within all of us. Just where you have to start.
You gave me I think you just inadvertently gave me the title to the to this video. Are you prepared to move forward? Something like that. I like that. That's really good. So yeah, to anyone listening here, this is not planned. We're just having a conversation. And I think you were. This was a very memorable experience for me too. And I think it's good to mention here, because I always mention this in all the videos. Catherine, was this easy? Was this an easy program?
No, it's a challenge.
Yes, we had many conversations where we had to kind of regroup a little bit, and that's okay. This was not a magic trick, correct?
Yeah. But it was really interesting, because when I was following what you were saying to do, I was free and I felt good, and I'm like walking on water. And then all of a sudden, when I look away from what you're saying, I start sinking, and I could see that. And so that's the, and that's why it was great to do this, because it's like working with a trainer. You're going to get a better workout if you work with a trainer. It's just, it's just how it is, and
that's exactly what I am. A different type of trainer.
Yeah. And that focus. And, so yeah, I'm really grateful that I did it, and what do you say about fear is, it's not that you're not afraid, but you have the courage and do it anyway.
Yeah, fear doesn't mean you're not afraid. It just means you do it anyway.
Yeah, you do it anyways.
You're like, fuck it.
Yeah. That's what I felt like with my final, with the conversation that I had with him, after I'd done the program, and I could feel the fear, but I knew that I was okay, and I did it anyways. And I was so glad I did. And freedom came from that.
Yep.
So I'm really grateful that I did it. And, it's funny because people say oh, it's expensive, but I don't know, that's relative, because what price are you really going to put on your happiness and your emotional well-being? And, I understand that for me in my profession, it was expensive, but not really, if you think about what you're getting,
what you're getting
from it. So
yeah, your whole life is going to, across the board, is going to really slingshot to whole other levels, because you dressed everything in the core. You're, again, and I put all these videos in our group, for example, and it's not coincidence Everyone there, like towards the end, they get promotions, big bonuses, blah, blah, blah. And everything changes because at the end of the day, you address the core, you know, Catherine. You address your emotional, your ability to control your emotional states, your energy, and that's the fuel for everything you want. So is it really a coincidence that all the stuff starts to shift? No. But when you consider all that, it's like it's a no-brainer. But yeah, some people just sort of stuck with paradigms. Unfortunately, don't serve them. But you know what? It served you. And yeah, I'm super thankful for the journey you and I had together. There were definitely, and again, for everyone listening here, this was not easy. There were definitely a few points where you and I had a few challenging conversations. And it's like, look, you really got to follow exactly what I'm, you know, because you started to veer a little bit, a couple times. I was like, you can't do that. You have to do exactly what I give in front of you. I'm your personal trainer, essentially, like we talked about. You got to follow it. And I was so thankful. Then you did what I asked you to do. Even though we had a couple of those conversations, like, I'll give you my heart and soul, but don't make me ask me to repeat myself a million times. That's why during the program, whenever I needed you to realign you a little bit and just kind of, you know, and I always look, I'm an intense guy. That's true. But I like to think I was always very respectful, firm, but respectful. And you know, and I just had to be very clear with him. Like, look, you got to do it exactly the way it's given to you. It's all there for reasons. And I always was happy to give you the explanations so you understood why. But at the end of the day, you know, the person's got to follow the process. They got to do the workout the way their trainer gave it to them. And you did it. And that was awesome. And yeah, it's really incredibly satisfying to see how great you wound up doing at the end. You know, but again, you did your part. You did your part of the co-creation. You know, this was a real workout. You did your part, and you got a fantastic reward. And the cool part is, I mean, you'll really start to appreciate this over the next several months. This will be the gift that keeps giving. How great you feel now doesn't mean you're not gonna have challenges, by the way. You know, even when I do the regular calls, you know, I always make sure it's very clear to people, like, dude, I don't get away without having challenges. I mean, like, you know, sometimes when someone first starts a program, they talk about, oh, I'm still having a problem flipping the switch lines. Like, what kind of fucking switch are you talking about? I have many days where I have to do the tools, and it takes a little bit to get that momentum going, but I always get there eventually. But I'm putting myself under some kind of perfectionist measure. I enjoy being a human being, and we're always going to be a human being. But the difference is now you have control. Now you have consistency. There's no such thing I swear to God, from now to the end of time, there's no such thing as days, weeks, months on end in a fucking funk. Maybe a challenging day here and there, true, but a challenging day can still be a good day. And that's a whole different world. And the cool part is, as you continue to do the practice process and evolve with it, you will fucking dwarf. Again, there's the curse words again. You will dwarf where you're at in even just a few months when you compare objectively how you are today. Like a muscle, you know, you go from you start lifting 100 pounds, with lifting 100 pounds, and you go to 100 to 130. That's a pretty cool feeling to be that much stronger. But then when you get to lifting 160 for repetitions, it's like you feel like a superhero. And that's really what this is. And it never stops. That's the really cool part. So, you know, it's unfortunate that some people will never truly, by definition, value themselves enough or love themselves enough to do what you did, which is amazing in itself. So yeah, you did fantastic. So I think maybe one last good question. This is gonna be, you answered. You had some really great stuff in here. So maybe one last question. How do you feel about your future now? How do you feel about your future now? Relationships, navigating them. And again, you know the challenges are going to happen. That is what it is. Relationships are the ultimate soul school that will never end. Doesn't end for me, won't end for you. But how do you feel about your ability to handle whatever comes your way? How do you feel about a true skill set to, no matter what happens, you're going to be good?
I feel really expectant and excited about the future. So I feel like I have a lot of clarity now, much more after the program on what I want. Like, I'm not confused about that.
Yep.
And also things I don't want, you know, things that I will not accept. So I feel and I also feel at peace by myself. I'm not afraid. I know I'm okay by myself. I'm not I'm a happy person. I'm happy already.
Yeah.
So you know, someone to enhance that would be a huge blessing, you know. But it's not like I'm not okay, you know, until I find that. So I think that this program really focused on that. It really you know, got behind the truth that, you know, happiness, we like to think that it's from the job or the relationship or the house or, you know, the whatever the material thing is, but we're allowing ourselves to feel happy, whether it's there or not.
Yep.
And so doing this practice that you taught us, like you can feel it even when it's not there. So you know, it's a great celebration. I feel excited and you know, yes, I do. I want my future husband, of course, you know, but this is worth it, because why settle? Why you know, I think that's why people maybe stay in relationships that they shouldn't be in, is because there's beautiful things there, but then there's things that are not working, and it's so confusing for them to manage that. You know, I could see that on this guy's end too. So just having the clarity to honor yourself and honor what's right for you and what you want. And so I'm excited and expecting.
Good. Yeah, you should be. I will close here with this here. I would put it all on the line. I would say within 1 year maximum, probably even sooner than that. I would say within 1 year maximum, I'd put it on the line and say you'll definitely be you'll definitely have another level as far as who you're with. I mean, I think there's no question. You know, in some ways, you actually remind me of there was a gentleman who graduated from this course. This point, maybe about a year and a half ago. It's been a while, and I don't know if you saw his update. But it was really amazing, actually, because, and now again, I'm just going to put it out there. It's like my little prediction for the future. But it was really amazing. And when it comes true, I'm going to be even more convinced that this whole thing we call life is not even real. Like, it's just a big dream or whatever. But we'll see. But anyway, so his name is Kevin. And when him and I started working together, he was dealing with a breakup. And what made it even worse was that his ex started seeing somebody within his social circle. So not only did he have that separation, but it was in his face.
Yeah.
Really, really not good. But anyway, we did the program, and then he did a video testimonial for me after he graduated. And actually said in the video, I cut it out of the video, but he actually said in the video he was actually you know, resuming things again to some degree. And he predicted on the video that by the end of the year they would be engaged. And he did get engaged to her about a year later. He actually posted in the group. Very cool. Wow. Again, these are kind of things and you remember, by the way, you remember this very clearly. This is also great for anyone listening here. Like, I made it beyond clear. This is for you and for you alone. I did not promise you it was going to happen with him or anybody. I made it beyond clear. This is something you do to end that pattern permanently, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't give those false pretenses. I always tell people, like, listen, I will shift the odds in your favor if you want it, but don't be surprised if you don't want it when you're done. Yeah. Don't be surprised if you don't feel like you're worth so much more. I mean, think about it. You took yourself to a whole other level. Why would you not get someone at that level? That doesn't even make sense. So don't be surprised if you don't feel beyond worthy and know that something way greater, more aligned with what you really are deserving, lines up for you. Yeah. But some people like Kevin, and this is the part where you guys differ a little bit. He did want that second opportunity. He just felt there was things he could work on in himself. And a lot of times this program, it puts light on you and says, wow, you know, I want these things, but I'm not bringing it to the table myself. And he realized there were some things that, you know, he needed to work on, et cetera, et cetera. And that allowed him to realign himself. But it was very cool because in the video, he's like, yeah, by the end of the year, we'll be engaged. I'm like, okay, we'll see. And that happened.
With the girl that was seeing someone in his social?
Yep. They got back together, and now a year later, they're engaged. And he posted in the group. You can see it. Yeah. It's very cool.
Oh, that is. I'll go check it out. That's
amazing. And I have another person who graduated very recently. And again, I always tell people, like, I'm telling you, it's inevitable. You can't not get a way better level. It's just impossible. And I had someone who just graduated. She's in the group, and she not saying any names or whatever. And again, you know, but I mean, she did a video testimonial for me too, so you might be able to figure it out. But anyway, she another breakup, many years of these patterns, and then when she graduated, she actually started seeing somebody in the group. Yeah, and now she's engaged. I mean, like, yeah, and she's doing amazing.
Group.
What's that?
I better get to that group. No.
I mean, it's the group you're in. It's the group you're in.
I know.
Yeah. But I tell people, like, you can't not attract a higher level. It's impossible. Yeah. Because if you did what you did when you were here, and now you're literally there, how can people have to respond in accordance with the version you bring to the table? So, I mean, Catherine, I would say probably even 6 months, probably less, you'll meet someone and you'll realize, oh, wow, this is a whole different level. So I'm not surprised at all. I didn't think you. I thought when you finished, you would be like. I mean, I listen to details, and again, I try to. I'm not an oracle, so I try to give my opinion. But I was like, she's gonna feel at a whole different level when she's done. So I'm not surprised at all. And you'll see, you'll track that soon enough. But the cool part is, it'll be a bonus for you. You'll be like, I'm good either way. Works great. If not, whatever. And that's really where we all want to be. We're not meant to live at the mercy of our external world. That's not how we're designed.
Right.
We're designed to have that God power within, and God doesn't need fucking other things. So It's like, and I think Keanu Reeves actually said it best. It's like relationships become a bonus, an option, not a necessity. And that's how we're meant to live. And you get to live like that now for the rest of the end of time. And the irony is that's why you're going to attract a whole different level, because that's what people are attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you're going to see the next year is going to be incredibly amazing for you.
Yeah.
Music licensing reimagined.